I have both my covers cut out now. Now, because they are slightly larger than my pages, I want to kind of center it a little bit. So I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch from the edge. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. I'm going to connect those. You probably want, if you are not going to cover your cardboard with paper or paint or anything, like I did my original one, then you probably need to be making these marks in pencil. And also think about what side of your cardboard is going to face up. Because if, let's say, this is my cereal box with the pretty colors and the little cartoon character that I like, that I want to show. And this is also that side for the back. If I say just line them up right next to each other, and I say, okay, I'm going to put my dots on this line, and I measure, and I do the same thing over here, and I put my dots where my marks are, where my holes are going to go, and I punch them. When I line up those holes, well, now that other cartoon side is on the inside of my book, not on the back. So you're going to want to flip that, which if you just cut it and then flipped it like I just did, your picture is going to be upside down. So you want to do that before you cut and make sure that your marks are on the right side. So this side kind of has a crease through it where the cardboard got bent. So I'm going to put that on my inside. So on this, I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch from this side on this piece. Connect it. So all of my holes to sew are going to be along this line. Then I'm going to I want my book centered vertically here. So our pages are 9 inches tall, and our cover is 9.5 inches tall. So I have an extra 1/4 inch border on the top and bottom. And my first hole in my register is 1 inch from the top of the page. So if my page starts at a 1/4 inch from the top of my cover, then I'm going to mark that 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to line up my 0 mark with that 1/4 inch mark. And then I can measure just like I did for my registers. So one mark at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3, skip 4, skip 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is where my holes go. So I'm going to get my needle back out. And watch where your fingers are on the back. I'm going to, not this 1/4 mark that I was referencing, but this first intersection, going to poke a hole straight through. Again, be mindful of where your fingers are so you don't accidentally stab yourself. If you kind of wiggle the needle a little bit, it helps get it through. Not a lot, just a little bit in kind of a circle. There we go. And then I can actually line it up. Just instead of measuring all that again, if I'm really careful, I can line up my back cover with this and just poke through the holes I just made in the front cover. But you have to make sure you keep it lined up the whole time, that it doesn't slide in between, or your holes aren't going to line up. Ta-da! Put my needle in there and just wiggle it a little bit to make these a little bigger so it's easier to sew. And our covers are all cut and ready to be stitched onto our registers.